Okay, so does anybody remember this?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay,
Yes, Prabhu.
so yeah, so this is our North Star, right? The highest bhakti, which is Bhakti Ruttamam, is defined as continuous service or emotions, which is Anusilanam, directed towards Krishna, his expansion forms or others related to him, Krishna, with a pleasing attitude towards Krishna. You should be devoid of desire other than the desire to please the Lord, and unobstructed by impersonal jnana and the materialist ritual of karma or other unfavorable acts. Right? So whatever we do, it is to please Krishna. It has to be anukulinam, anusilanam, ankulina. Right? These are the two positive things, and then the two things which was that we have to avoid. The negative is anya bhilashita, means there should not be any desire, and then jnana karmadi. Right? So these two were anusilanam and anukulina. Were the primary, and Anna Bhilashita and Dhyana Karmadi were secondary, right? So these are the four we had talked about. Now, definition of sadhana bhakti. So before I go definition of sadhana bhakti, just quick recollection. What do we recall? What is the definition of sadhana bhakti?
Sadhana Bhakti is where to performing bhakti according to the scriptural injunctions and to attain power.
Okay, that's the Vaidi, right? When you
Uh,
so before we go to Vaidi, what is the general definition of sadhana bhakti? You're close. Just think a little deeper. You will get the definition. You will get the definition, I think. So we got the goal. Goal is bhava, right? From where it is the goal is bhava, and using what?
Utilizing all the senses through
Uh,
devotional service.
Senses, mind, right? So we have to use our senses, mind, and speech to get to the bhava, right? So kriti sadhya bhavat sadhya bhava se sadan sadhana abhidya nitya siddhasya bhaveshya prakyatam hriday sadhyate sadhyata. Action of the senses which produces the stage of bhava is called sadhana bhakti, right? The action of senses which produces the stage of bhava is called sadhana bhakti. This attained state of bhava bhakti is an eternal asthai bhava which is not created but simply manifest within the soul by, let me, yeah, within the soul by the spiritual energy of the Lord. So when we say the senses, so senses includes mind, speech, and our the physical senses. So everything, right? So we have to use all our senses, right? So that's what we are using, and the goal is to get to the bhava bhakti. And what it's telling that this bhava bhakti has always existed within our heart. It is just rekindling. It is not getting created. It's just being rekindled. So that's the definition of sadhana bhakti. Okay. Now, what is the definition of Vaidi sadhana bhakti, Prabhu? Here now.
yes, Prabhu. Following where the impetus to practice the
Mm.
bhakti is coming from the scriptural injunctions.
Yes. So if the impetus is coming from the scriptural injunction, then that's called Vaidi sadhana bhakti, where the action of bhakti arises not from the attainment of raga, but by the teachings of scriptures. It is called Vaidi bhakti. All right. So it is not. What is the definition of Raganuga Bhakti?
Practicing bhakti by following the footsteps of Vrajvasis. Gopis.
Yeah. So Raganuga Bhakti is defined as that bhakti which follows after the Ragatmika Bhakti found distinctively in the inhabitants of Vraja. Okay, Prabhu, that's good. Very nice. Now, in order to define Raganuga Bhakti, first Ragatmika Bhakti should be discussed, and that we know. So, okay. So, what is Ragatmika Bhakti?
People are who are already attained pure devotional service, pure, pure devotion towards Krishna, and they already would have practiced it.
Yeah, means you already
Well,
covered. It's a Vrajvasi, right? So Ragatmika,
yes.
Raga is defined as the spontaneous deep thirst for the object of love. A bhakti that is impelled exclusively by such a thirst is called Ragatmika Bhakti. So it's a spontaneous thirst, right? And this is what we call lobha, greed, right? So it goes to that extent that there is a lobha for it. So initially when we started Vaidi Sadhana Bhakti, the impetus is we are reading scriptures. In in Raganuga Bhakti, the impetus is spontaneous love. It's a spontaneous love. That doesn't mean that the Ragatmika Bhaktas or Raganuga followers, they are not reading the scriptures. It's just that there is the impetus, the need to study that to get the raga is not required. Raga is coming from within the heart. But because they have the raga, they will go and read it. So it's the different way, right? In the Vaidi Sadhana Bhakti, we force ourselves. We are, or in some case, we have very little interest. Our hearing of is there is not much absorptions is not there, right? But in the Ragatmika phase, in the Raganuga, when the devotees start practicing Raganuga, then due to the spontaneous love, they would just like to keep reading, and then always. But it's not required because they are in so much of deep love. Okay. Um, so, and types of Ragatmika Bhakti, we have talked about Kamarupa and Sambandharupa. What is the difference, Kamarupa and Sambandharupa?
Kamarupa is like Gopi, like in Madhurya,
Madhurya, Radhuri, and Sambandha,
Sambandha, all the other four different type of
three,
relation with
right?
Krishna.
Three. The neutrality is not there, right? So it is the servitude, the friendship, and then the Vatsalya. Okay,
Sorry.
but and then we talked about even the if you see Madhurya also is the part of Sambandha, but then because it's so special, it is just called out separately. Okay, so we had done that part. Why Kamarupa is separated level? Yeah, okay, it is also a type of relation. Okay, okay. So with that we have covered scriptural proofs for the two types of Ragatmika Bhaktas. Okay, so at this point of time, maybe we'll transition to our regular study, and then we'll come back and try to do further review if required. But I think the initial connection, I think I wanted to establish for us to make sure that we understand the content. All right, so we'll start from the 283. Sure, Mrinali Mataji, go ahead.
Okay, Prabhu. Translation. Here is the definition of Kamarupa Ragatmika Bhakti. That type of bhakti with full absorption in the beloved is called Kamarupa Bhakti, which produces an intrinsic thirst for a conjugal relationship with the Lord in the Atma. It is called Bhakti because in that condition there is only eagerness for giving pleasure to Krishna. Jiva Goswami commentary. Kama should be described as a particular type of prema with full spontaneous absorption in the beloved object, which was already mentioned in the definition of Ragatmika Bhakti. This verse begins to describe Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakti, that type of bhakti who whose very form is prema, not material lust, is called Kamarupa in this verse, and no other type, and which produces
Sorry.
a thirst for conjugal enjoyment with Lord as one's essential nature. What is the cause for this Kamarupa being prema? In that Kamarupa Bhakti, there is only an intense zeal for the happiness of Krishna. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura commentary: Kama should be described as a particular type of prema with full spontaneous absorption in the beloved object. This has already been mentioned in the definition of Ragatmika Bhakti. That which is famous of prema sa is called Kamarupa in this verse. Other varieties are excluded. The verse covers only the characteristics of Kamarupa. What is its effect? The thirst for conjugal enjoyment, famous as kama or lust, is actually a thirst composed of prema alone, with no trace of material lust, and this thirst becomes one's essential nature, sat, swatam. The verse that explains the reason that this kama is equated with prema, because yet in this thirst for enjoyment, asyam, there is complete eagerness of the gopis of Vraja only for pleasing Krishna and not a thirst for their personal enjoyment.
Okay, so what is the key takeaway from this verse?
It's not the material lust, rather it is towards the eagerness is towards the love of the God.
Okay, anything else anybody would like to add in this?
The type
Yes,
of
Prabhu.
love.
One is
Go ahead.
yes,
Go ahead,
Mother.
Prabhu. Go ahead.
Yes, Mother.
You go first.
Yeah, Prabhu, like I would say like yeah, immediately Ragatmika means like three keywords like spontaneous absorption and complete eagerness to please Krishna.
Hmm. Okay, yes. Yes, Jayarada Mataji.
The Kama Rupa being a particular type of Rupa um, is a type of prema um, for it's like a conjugal relationship with the Lord, but it's not material. It's spiritual, and it's the bhakti has an eagerness um, to please Krishna spontaneously.
So how do we practically understand it, right? We are saying that this is not lust because what we know in our life, material life, right? Um, the folks who are in the conjugal relationship, right? Uh, it is calling that that is lust and this is love. What is the difference between the lust and love here as per this definition or your understanding?
There's no consideration for yourself, and the only desires for the pleasure of Krishna is my understanding of the difference of lust and love.
Very good, very good. Yeah. So there's only eagerness for giving pleasure to Krishna. So in the material world, when the folks are in conjugal love, what they call conjugal love is there's a you give and then you expect also from your conjugal partner, right? But here the pleasure is how can we give pleasure to Krishna? Now you just take and think about it. Why the Astsakhi gopis and the other gopis, they are okay that Krishna is associating with the other gopis. They're happy. But in the real world, that may be considered, oh, that's not normal behavior. But here you see that this is not the kind of physical love we can dream of. Right? This is the love where they're thinking that how we can satisfy Krishna in every aspect. And they are not of course, from the Leela aspect, there is a jealousy also involved sometimes between Lalita and Radharani, and right. So there is the two parties, but that is all to give more joy to Krishna, because so that's how they are thinking. So that difference we have to understand, and we should not try to equate it with the mundane love what we have within our material life. Right? So this line is very important, and this, of course, for me, um, I always means if it my mind is such that it only makes sense to me when I'm able to internalize. So this part is so deep. I won't say that I have fully internalized it, but this is how much I have internalized it so far. If there is any other comment, thoughts. Okay, so Janani Mataji, you want to read 284?
Yes, Prabhuji. Just a second. Yeah. Yam tu vrajadevishu suprasiddha virajate asam prema visheshoyam prapta kama api madhurim tattat krida nidanatvat kama iti uchyate budhe. Translation: this very famous Kamarupa Bhakti appears with, just a second, we're reading some, just, yeah. This very famous Kamarupa Bhakti appears with brilliance in the women of Vraja. They have a particular type of prema which has a special sweetness. It is called Kam by the wise because it is the cause of various amorous actions. Jiva Goswami's commentary. The author gives an example of this Kamarupa Bhakti. Its famous nature, Suprasiddha, is illustrated in the following verse, which was spoken by the Gopis when Krishna left them in the midst of the Rasa Leela. Yatte sujata charanam buruham staneshu bhita saneha priya dadhimahi karakeshu tena tavim atashi tad vyathartena kim swit kurpadibhir brahmati dhira bhavad ayushamna. O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. SB 10.31.19. But in such examples, the word Kamarupa actually should be Kamatmika, completely filled with thirst. The phrase Kamarupa expresses only bhakti composed of conjugal actions and not the conjugal emotions. Whereas the phrase Kamatmika bhakti completely inundated with conjugal feelings indicates bhakti endowed with conjugal feelings as well as actions. It would not be possible for that thirst composed only of actions to cause complete transformation into prema. However, even though this Kamarupa is composed of action, this action will produce a transformation because part of the action is the action of the mind. In the mind, the person thinks, Krishna will attain happiness from me. Thus, the transformation into prema in the Atma will take place, since both body and mind are involved.
All right, Mataji, take away.
Prabhuji, this is a very high platform to comprehend. So, from our material consciousness, it is a very high thing to understand. But as I understand,
Take the phone, Mataji. Take the call.
it's okay, Prabhuji. I'll call
Okay.
back.
Okay.
So, from the material platform, the way I understand this is that all these pastimes of Krishna with his transcendental, eternal consorts, gopis, they are happening on the spiritual platform. So, their mind, their body, their senses, their thoughts, their actions, everything is spiritualized. And because everything is spiritualized, because they are those, everything is in connection with Krishna. Everything is for the pleasure of Krishna. Therefore, all their mind, their actions, their body, their senses, everything is on the spiritual platform. So this is not an ordinary lust. This is that, and here the point, and I'm not being very concise, Prabhu, but here they are referring that it's not the lust, it's the thirst. They want to please Krishna. That's their thirst. That's their mood. That how can we please Krishna? How can Krishna get more pleasure from us? So that is their thirst, and that thirst is not only, I mean, bodily actions, right? Like the actions are not the indicative of their thirst. Actually, it's coming from their mind. So that is why Jiva Goswami is saying that because both their mind and body are involved, that is why we should not, we should not call it Kama Rupa, we should call it Kamatmika. Because it's coming from Atma. It's not coming from, it's coming from the level of the soul, the transcendental platform.
Very good, Mataji. Very nice. Anybody would like to add anything? See, for me, my eyes were just going on to this line. It is called karma by the wise because it is the cause of various amorous actions. So many times when karma means, and especially when you are coming from the Vedic culture, right? If you like, we associate the special meaning to kama. Kama means lust or kama. Like you just think the physical actions, like all those stuff. But here the kama meaning is defined really nicely, and that really is giving answer to me that kama rupa should not be thought as a lust, right? So kama is telling is wise because it is a cause of various amorous actions. So whenever you think from the kama, right? Why the material kama? That one, it says that okay, it's a desire, fulfillment of the desire, and that is typically the highest desire in the material world is the sexual desire, right? So it gets associated with the sexual desire, the word kama. But the real meaning from the Sanskrit perspective is it will lead to further action. So it is just fulfilling the desire, and desires are coming, as Mata is talking about, from the spiritual platform to from the spirit, that I would like to satisfy Krishna, and that. So one desire leading to other. How I can do more to Krishna? How I can do more to Krishna? So there is a lot of desire. There is a lot of desire, but it is so for pleasing Krishna. So that's the reason the word kama is being associated in kama rupa. So this kama rupa is not like the way we understand kama in the material world, which becomes sexual sexual relationship, right? So that is the point I was like when you are reading. This is where my mind was going. So that's one of the thing. And then this particular verse, it is. Do you know where the verse is coming from? This verse, of course, it is the number is there, but it is the part of a special section in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Wasn't it when the gopis became too proud and then Krishna disappeared and they started having extreme separation from him, so they turned a little mad?
Yeah, so it is the part of the um, uh,
Uh,
Gopi Geet.
Yes.
Gopi Geet. Okay, it's a part of the Gopi Geet. So there's a very beautiful section, Gopi Geet, and I'll highly encourage if you feel so inspired. Um, Read this. There's like a 22 verses, which you should, and they are sung very nicely, right? So they are sung very nicely, and maybe when the Damodar month is coming, or the this Purushottam month is coming, you can choose that. Okay, during this month I'm going to recite, or you can recite every day just like that. And what you will find, right? See, even though we are not, I can say I am not uh, qualified to read these verses, but because these are the feelings, right? We can make the mistake. I can make the mistakes of associating with the material desire, because there are things which is, it talks about the different aspect of the love, right? In this especially, right, you can see the meaning here, right? uh, we, uh, we can associate it like that, but when you read these 20 verses slowly, I felt definitely the cleansing happening, and the mind wouldn't go into the different direction. It will feel that, oh, they are trying to give pleasure to Krishna. This is what their feeling is. This is what they are thinking, right? And then other thought which is coming when Mataji was reading about the story of the uh, Krishna getting the headache, right? And then Gopi is telling that we don't care about the all the sin we are going to incur, and we are going to give all the dust from our our feet, right? And they start getting all the dust. So this is how the gopi thinks, right? This is with their love, they don't care about the um, uh, what I'm going to get. They don't even care if they're going to get the sin, right? So so those are some of the reflection as Mataji you were reading. If anybody has any other things which you would like, which you feel inspired to share, please do that.
Guruji, can I add to what I said earlier? This
Mhm,
thing just struck me. So it's not that gopis are not getting anything out of it. They are
mhm,
deriving the immense satisfaction and the bliss
mhm,
by
mhm,
pleasing Krishna.
mhm,
So because they are able to please Krishna on the transcendental platform, their
mhm,
bliss is multiplying. And
mhm,
because their bliss is multiplying, they are inclined to do more and more for Krishna.
mhm,
And so this is like a never ending cycle, because they are doing more for Krishna, they are pleasing
mhm, mhm.
more and more. Krishna is getting more and more pleased, so they are getting more and more bliss.
Very good, Mataji. Very good. This is the, you just talked about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mood, right? That how there is so much of love and joy in just giving, right? Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, 285. Uh, Jai Radha Mataji. 285 and 286. Maybe you can read.
Translation. Thus, in Tantra, it is said the Kamarupa Bhakti of the Gopis have become famous simply of prema. Translation. And because it is a form of exalted prema, persons such as Uddhava, dear to the Lord, desire that aspect of it. Jiva Goswami's commentary. The word iti indicates the reason why Kamarupa Bhakti is well known as prema. Uddhava, by expressing his desire in the following verse, makes the Kamarupa Bhakti famous as prema. Among all persons on the earth, these cowherd women alone have actually perfected their embodied lives, for they have achieved the perfection of unalloyed love for Lord Govinda. Their pure love is hankered after by those who fear material existence, by great sages, and by ourselves as well. For one who has tasted the narrations of the infinite Lord, what is the use of taking birth as a high class Brahmana, or even as Lord Brahma himself? The word Ita indicates prima, similarly to their Ishtarat rasa, similar to their intense prima. Rudha Bhabhav, characterized by emotions by which they identify themselves as conjugal lovers of Govinda. However, it should be understood that he actually did not desire the gopis' particular type of prema, because such a desire would suggest that he is forcing conformity to the goal of Kamarupa Bhakti on the desires of liberation. Baba Vihaya, the liberated Mun Naya, and the devotees Vayam. Thus, they would no existence. Thus, there would no existence of Shaya Babas such as Sadhya or Dasya. Uddhav desired the intensity of their prema, but not their Kamarupa Baba, which causes the intensity. Thus, when Uddhav says he desires their prema, he does not desire the Kamarupa Baba.
Okay, so what is the takeaway from this verse, these two verses? Anyone can share.
Uh, Prabhu, like to tell in summary, like gopis are the uh, example or the uh, definition for the Ragatmika Bhakti and or Kamarupa Bhakti here. In and also here it is illustrated as Mataji read like Uddhava, even though he is aspiring, he himself is a pure devotee, but still he is aspiring to have a devotion that gopis have. So so it doesn't mean that everybody should aim like only Kamarupa or conjugal relation with the Krishna. So it is their intensity that Uddhava is aspiring, not the actual power.
Very good point. So 2 points which I can think here based on what it's being written here. That because it is so famous, the whenever we talk about prema, whenever we hear in our shastra, in our scripture, the prema, actually what it is referring to is the Kamarupa, right? So so prema means if means we can think it can be sambandh rupa, it can be any kind of prema, but by default it's telling that because the Kamarupa Bhakti has become so famous that that has become the definition of prema. So that's one. So prema means highest form. That's what is being discussed here in our scripture. And second, as Prabhu said that here Uddhava is looking for the intensity of the kama rupa, not the kama rupa itself, but the intensity. So in any kind of bhava or prema one has, right? Um, the intensity can be what is in Kamarupa without the aspiration of Kamarupa. So that's what is mentioned here. Thank you, Prabhu, for contributing. And Preeti Mataji, 287.
1 second, Prabhu. Prabhuji, are you hearing background sound?
No,
There is some
Mataji.
work going on.
No.
Okay, okay. Translation. But the wise agree that attraction to Krishna seen in Kubjas essentially due to karma only. Jeev Goswami's commentary. That Kubja had a prominence of karma is evident in her, not showing the actions of the pure prema of the gopis. The pure prema is illustrated in the following verse. O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests up only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by the pebbles as you roam around on the forest path. She, on the other hand, exhibits only lusty actions. Now endowed with beauty, character, and generosity, Triva- Trivakra began to feel lusty desires for Lord Keshava. Taking hold of the end of his upper cloth, she smiled. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.42.9. However, she is said to have rati to a small degree because the object of her attraction was Krishna.
Okay, so what is the takeaway for this verse?
So, Jeev Goswami is talking about the difference between um, lust of Kubja versus Gopis. So Kubja had some degree of lust since I think she was more into her own beauty and since she hold the cloth of Krishna. But gopis were mostly concern for Krishna because of his feet getting hurt while he was walking through Vrindavan on top of the pebbles. So
Yeah. So, and do you see that this verse is just repeated again, right? This was the verse was above also.
yes,
So,
Prabhu.
what is the significance? Why, like, this verse has been repeated twice, right? Anybody, you, and anybody would like to make a comment?
I think it's just reiterating how subtle the differences are, because the activities seem the same, but because the intentions are different, it brings different results, is how I understand it.
And what is the intention? What are you talking about, Mataji?
Yeah, and so for Kama, the intention, although pleasing to Krishna, there was some selfish intention in there,
Mm-hmm.
versus the Kama Bhakti, where there was no intention, there was selfless intention.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so because as it was happening, I was also thinking that okay, why? And then there is fatality, right? That they are especially mentioning it typically with the what has been detailed here, right? It will feel that the gopi would also like to enjoy because they are taking Krishna's feet and putting on their body part, but here they are doing it because they are feeling that Krishna is going to have the pain, and they are, and that's the reason they are thinking that we need to place his feet here, right? So and that's exactly, I think, Mataji, that's what you are also referring to, and that's the reason it's repeated, that there is a subtlety of it, right? That's so thank you. And the other of a part is, of course, that kubja, like in terms of the doubt, many times we think that okay, she only have the kama, which is to enjoy, right? So what is telling that yes, that was one of the primary driver for her, but she also had the rati to a small degree, which is to please Krishna also, right? So it's just not that, of course, she wanted to enjoy. So her love cannot be compared with the gopis, but her love is not material love also, right? So that's what it is being explained over here. So that completes
Prabhuji,
the yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
can I
So
share
I just
something?
wanted
And
to
I don't know.
oh,
Go ahead, Mataji.
no worries, Mataji, you can go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, I was saying, I don't know how true this is, but just by the reading this verse, this was coming into my mind. So I just wanted to share and uh, get confirmation on this. But at the Brajabhumi, right, the land of Vrindavan can also be acting in the Gopi mood, where Krishna is walking on the land of Vraja, where there could be pebbles. So that is why we see the Brajraj, like, which is very soft, because Krishna's feet should not get hurt, and Krishna is stamping all over the land of Vraja, right? And the chest or the breast is the soft part of the body. So when somebody puts their feet on the chest or the breast, it hurts a lot, right? So the amount of pain, the land of Raja is it's not pain for the land of Raja. It's the feeling, the land of Raja is feeling blissful that Krishna is walking over. So the land of Raja can also be in the Gopi mood here, deriving great satisfaction and great pleasure that Krishna is trampling over her body.
Yeah. So and recently I was hearing Amrinder Prabhu on his one of his Canto 10 class, right? And he was telling that, and I'll use the Hindi word. People who understand, they will understand, but I'll explain for the folks who don't know Hindi. He's telling that Vraja is the place of uh, Ghasetu Krishna. Ghasetu Krishna means whenever somebody is just being pulled, right, on the vraj, on the land, it's called ghasitu. Like when you are walk and you are just rubbing your slipper, right, on the while you are walking. So we say that that's a ghasitu style walking, right? So you are just rubbing and that's how we're walking. So the pastime, the Krishna's pastime, the childhood pastime is like all the time he's holding the tail of the cow, and then the calf, and the calf is running and he's laughing, and the whole his body is just going like that. So what we understand from there, that there is no pebble in there's no pebble in Vraj, right? It's just a soft soil, mud, Vraj, what we call it. But still, you see, for the gopi, even that is how Krishna's feet will be hurting, right? Krishna's feet will be hurting, and I need to put it to the softest place on my body so that it doesn't feel. So that's the intensity of the love, right? And that's what I think uh, Amrinder Prabhu was talking about. So thank you, Mataji, because that reminded me that instance what I heard recently.
I have a question. I think Jayarata had a question. Did you have one?
No.
Oh, sorry. Maybe it was somebody else. I have a question related to the penance of Lakshmi. What was that situation? How did that? My only understanding is that after all of the penance that she did, she still failed to reach that level of bhakti. Is there I guess I just don't understand that situation in this context.
So you're trying to say that why Lakshmi Devi love is not considered to be equivalent to the gopis love?
So she wanted to reach there, but and she did a bunch of penance to do it. And so I was wondering more so in this context where she fell in. Was it the same? Was it not the same as just the kama, um, where there was enjoyment, but then also desire, pleasure, Krishna? Is there, I guess in this context, where did she fall into that?
Okay. Okay. Anybody would like to answer Mataji's question? Take an attempt of answering the Mataji's question. Yes.
Prabhuji, is it not like she had a little, I don't get a proper word, if it's pride, uh, that could be the reason. I'm not sure if that's the right word to use, but yeah,
Okay.
to a certain degree compared to Gopi love.
Okay.
So
Anything else?
would it be falling into uh, the other situation then?
Can I add, Prabhu?
Yes, please. Please.
Probably to Mataji, at least what I think to answer your question, Mataji. So if I understood it correctly, so you're looking like now we discussed 2 point. One is Kamarupa Bhakti itself. One is Gopis, and one is Kubja. Other one. So where Lakshmi Devi fall under, right? Yeah, so Lakshmi Devi is trying to join the Rasa dance for Krishna to please him. So for that, like she did some penances. There were some pastimes. So since she is following gopis, she will come under Raganuga. That's what I would feel, Prabhu. But she is not a gopi. Still she is in the she is a eternal concert for Lord Vishnu, who is in the opulent power, right? So but not in the this one. So she always trying to reach. So I think in Brahma Samhita it says Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Samprama Sevamanam. So like they always try to um, please Krishna. But since she is following the footsteps of Gopi, so I would say like it is Raganuga, but it's not still Ragatmika like Gopis. Sorry, bro, if I speak
So was
anything
it
wrong.
Kunja? Like was it the
No,
same
it's
as
not
Kunja?
Gupta. It's not Gupta.
Okay. Anybody else?
because I know she failed at it. She wasn't able to do so. So I was wondering, so I understand she didn't fall into Raganuga in this context. So then I'm wondering if she would fall into the situation as Kunja, or
So
is that
see,
different? Yeah.
no, yeah. So see, whether it's Lakshmi, whether it's Rukmani Devi, they're all conjugal love. They're at the level of prema. Okay. So Krishna is not going to be means associating with somebody who is not at that the level of prema. So they're all at the Ragatmika, the Kamarupa Ragatmika. Okay. Now where Lakshmi Devi falls, and like falls means she doesn't fall. It's just a, there is a subtlety, and they and these are the pretty high level concepts. So I'm just going to state what I've heard. These are not my realization or anything like that. Um, so have you heard the Parakya and Swakya? Swakya and Parakya bhav?
Can you
Yeah,
translate
okay,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, so Swakya is where there is a relationship, like wife, right? So is the intimate conjugal relationship, but it is based on a relationship of husband and a wife, and that's where Rukmini Devi, Lakshmi Devi, they all come into. Okay, so Dwarika Leela and then the Vaikuntha Leela. Now the Gopi is Parakya. Parakya means they are not in a wedded relationship, but there is the conjugal. And then if you see, this is something practicality, how we can internalize, at least I try to internalize and try to understand the intensity of the Parakya. Parakya means not wedded. That you see, if there's a boy and a boyfriend and girlfriend in the material life, their intensity of love, and then if once get married, the same boy and boyfriend and girlfriend, they get married, their intensity of love, what happens? Do you see the difference in the intensity of their conjugal affairs between the boy and a girl when they are not married versus when they are married?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right? Where is more intensity between when they're married or when they are not married?
When they are not married.
So that's the difference. Because see, when the parakya is happening there, so see, if it's just not just the parakya is just not some of the gopis are married, some of the gopis are unmarried. Even the unmarried gopis, they are running towards Krishna, right? So that the see how much intensity is there, right? So it's not that the Rukmini Devi and Lakshmi Devi, they don't have that intensity. They are serving Krishna with a full intensity, but this subtlety, right? The is just the extent of the intensity. That was differentiate between the love of Lakshmi Devi and the Gopi, right? So so and this is the there is a when the discussion is happening between Ramananda Roy and Mahaprabhu, and last time we were talking about it little briefly. We talked about so when Ramananda Roy says that about the love of Gopi, and they say okay, that's the highest. So that's the parakya comes, and within that, within the parakya, the highest love is Radharani. So of all the Gopi, because she is the most beloved to Krishna, but that's the relation. That's the reason why the in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, the love, this kind of love, right, which has the intensity. It's not that the devotees are looking for the parakya rasa with Krishna. That will be incorrect, right? We what the Gaudiyas are means the Sampradayas, they would like to serve the servant of the servant of the servant, which is Radharani. Radharani servant is Gopis. Gopi's servant is Manjari's. So Manjari's servant, right? But of course, so that's a servant of a servant of a servant, right? So it's from that. So there are our acharyas who are considered to be Manjaris, right? Some of the acharyas. So the devotee would like to be servant, their servant, right? And of course, the more you see, the more humility a devotee have, they will say that not even their servant. I would like to be servant of a servant of a servant. Like they'll keep adding, right? But you got the point, right? That the subtlety, the difference is this, that the intensity. Otherwise, they are all at the highest platform of prema. That helps, Mataji. Mataji?
I think so. And so she was just unable to, because it sounded like she had a desire. So was she just not able to let go of that identity of like a Lakshmi and was able to get that body? Or I guess I don't understand. She had the desire to do it, and so I don't understand the reason why she was unable to.
What? So are you talking about some story, some pastime which I'm not following, Mataji? If you are, can you just tell me
Yeah, I
which
can
pastime
find
you're
it.
talking about? Yeah,
Yeah.
which pastime you're talking about here?
So I know that Lakshmi wanted to enjoy the Rasa Leela,
Rasa Leela, yeah,
and
yeah, huh?
she did a lot of penance and austerity
To
for it, and she failed.
to enter into the rasa dance.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, so
Prabhuji,
yeah,
Prabhuji, can I come in?
please go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, this is a pastime where Lakshmi ji is still doing tapasya in Mahavan. So,
Mm-hmm.
not Mahavan, sorry, Belvan. So, if you go to Belvan in Vrindavan, you will still see there is a temple of goddess Lakshmi. So, she is
Mm-hmm.
still in tapasya and she is doing lot of austerities to
Mm-hmm.
uh, get a form of the gopis.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the pastime Bri Mataji is mentioning, and she is
Mm-hmm.
still doing. So she
she's still
hasn't
doing it.
achieved the form of the gopis yet, and
I see.
Mm-hmm.
for millions of years she has been doing. But one more thing I wanted to add, Prabhuji, is what you had mentioned about the Swakya and Parakya. So the distinction between Swakya and Parakya is in Swakya there is in the when you are the wife of the Supreme Lord, you have some amount of reverence. So the, while in the case of gopis, that Aishwarya Bhav is not there. Like it's completely Madhurya because it's Parakya.
I see.
So Gopis have left everything, including their relations, their home, their children, their husbands, if they are married, if their parents, if they are unmarried. So they have left everything, and they have also left the social prestige, like what society is going to say, right? So uh, they have not even cared for the social prestige, which is very very difficult thing for anybody to give up. Like what will people say? Respect is very very important. So they have also given up self respect for the pleasure of Krishna. So that mood is only possible in Vrindavan. Outside Vrindavan, that mood is not possible.
I
uh,
see. Okay.
so that is why Lakshmi ji is, and if we see the Braj Gopis, they are also Lakshmis.
Yeah.
All the Lakshmis are coming actually from Srimati Radharani. But the Lakshmi ji, which is depicted in this pastime in Belvan, she still have that Aishwarya Bhav. She has given up everything. She has given up her wealth, and she has taken the mood of a austere person, like a sage, and she is doing tapasya, and she continues to do that tapasya that's for the glorification of the gopis of Vrindavan,
Mm,
that how exalted they are.
mm.
Thank
I
you,
see.
Mataji. Yeah, thank you very much. And see, we have to understand these are the different pastime to differentiate the glory of to glorify the gopi, right? That this is how who gopis are, right? So it's not that if the other Lakshmi they means all these gopis, right? They have the exalted position and they are Lakshmi as Mata is telling. But so it's not that this particular Lakshmi cannot become the gopi, right? But it's just telling the exalted position of the gopi. That's how. So we should understand from both the angle that who gopis are. Thank you. So I think we have gone over this. This is the summary which I'm just looking at if there are any points which we need to talk about. The six moods mentioned by Narada. Okay, so this we have already covered. Okay, fear and Kamarupa. Okay, to further highlight the exalted purity of the gopis' love for Krishna, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions Kubja, whose attraction to Krishna was not as pure as the gopi. The selfish desire that slightly tinged her attraction excluded her from the category of Kamarupa and relegated her to the lesser status of Kama Praya, almost lusty desire. Okay, all right. So that completes this section. The next chapter is also is the continuation of the spontaneous love. Okay, so we will continue next week and try to finish it. Any other question before we end the class for today? Yeah, there are a lot of esoteric some of this esoteric books has been written by our acharyas. Our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written this book called Raga Vartama Chandrika. That's mainly for the the advanced devotee, Ragatmika's devotee, and there it talks about that how which is not been mentioned here. I'm just briefly mentioning here is you see some of the devotees when they are very young or born or like very young, you can see that they have a great inclination for bhakti, right? And you can there are one example. There's one boy like maybe now 4 or 5 years, or maybe has grown to 6 years. I don't know. Bhagwat. His name is Bhagwat, and very young boy, and he cites all the different verses. He can give you the class, and like he will like with so much emphasis and intensity. So there are examples like that, right? You see, even say Amrindra Prabhu, very young, and then see the kind of renunciation he has, right? And then the love affection he has for the Vraj Bhakti. So where that where that is coming from, and it says that there are two kind of lobha, and so one lobha is which can be coming from our past life, and so that is one reason. The other is when this so Ragatmika Bhakti is not um, how the Ragatmika Bhakti is born, right? So a devotee is practicing the Vaidi Sadhana Bhakti, and then they start slowly getting into the Ragatmika Bhakti. When the transition happens, how that transition happens, so those things are not we didn't it's not the subject matter of the first 19 chapter. We haven't discussed. So those things becomes little puzzling, and that's what these esoteric books talks a little that how how this is how this appears. So one reason is the past our past birth, where the devotee must have been in a very exalted position. They might be even be guru or something, but they didn't complete their journey, and now again they are getting born and they are starting their journey. But and when they are journey starting the journey, depending on the mood, right? If the mood is from the very beginning is Raganuga, then they will find a teacher. So Krishna will arrange them a teacher who is already in that mood, right? A Raga mood, and then they will start their journey under the guidance of the teacher. Okay, so that's what you'll see. Some of these devotees were born like as a very seems like a very exalted position. Their birth is very exalted, and their journey is very exalted, very young, right? So it can be attributed to that. The second is within this birth, somebody can get the blessing of the Raganuga Bhakta. So they are Raganuga Bhaktas, and who can just bless some devotee out of their causeless mercy, and then they will that will that will become impetus. That is a jump, right? This devotee, we all like a lot of devotee that chanting and they're chanting try to do good chanting, but they are not able to enter into this raga platform. So that gate opening from inside is only possible by when uh, when these devotee who have who are practicing raga, they can give the blessings, right? So that's the other. So these are the two different reasons when that big transition may happen from and the third is by their own what you call uh, the Lord helping them from within their heart. Okay, so three different reasons are there when the transitions to Raganuga may happen. Okay. Okay, again, these are very, at least I know they are very, very high. I can't even dream of. But okay, because we are studying the scriptures, it's good to know what is our North Star, how these things happen. And then we know that how, when the devotees, the exalted devotees are coming, we should go and hear directly from them. We should try to serve them. Uh, and that's the best thing. Serve them in any capacity. It's not that we have to do the direct service of the exalted devotee, because many times we think that, oh, I should have a direct service. But in the direct service, we can commit a lot of mistakes, because serving the exalted devotee of the Lord has to be done in a serving mood. And sometimes we see um, the familiarity breeds contempt. You must have heard that, how when we become very familiar, and you see that, for example, Harivilas Maharaj, some devotee actually thinks that he is his friend. So that's okay for Maharaj to think that, oh, he's friend, but he's at a very exalted position, right? So we have to be very careful when we are associating or serving the Maharaj. We shouldn't think him as as a friend, right? In terms of the level, right? Of course, um, uh, Maharaj will treat us like that, but we should be very, very careful serving the big devotee. But we should serve, right? Even the small act of serving will will get us the blessing uh, what we may desire, to get to that level of love where we have this spontaneous love for Radha and Krishna in the Vraja Prem. The other book which you may find very important to read sometimes, and if you get, or sometimes if we have the chance, we'll read it. Mana Shiksha. It is written by Raghunath Das Goswami, and it talks about how the one is aspiring for the Vraj Bhakti should not look for anything else. Even he rejects that, and he's not rejecting the Vaikuntha Bhakti of Lakshmi and Lakshmi Devi, but it's not that it's less, but the mood is different, right? Aishwarya mood, as Janani Mata is talking about, right? It has the Aishwarya mood, but the Vraj mood is, then just if one wants to inculcate this Vraj mood, then we should just focus on this part, that I'm only looking for this and nothing else. So that's very, very important if we are really looking for that. So there's sodality, that why some may accelerate, because sometimes we have the tendency that, okay, I'll take something good from, I like something good from here, I'll take this something from here, but then that may make it a little khichdi, like the middle mixed up. So if we're really looking for the Vraj Bhakti, we should focus on this lineage and the literature from this, and that will accelerate the path towards the bhakti, while respecting everything else. It's not that we don't respect, but then what is where I'm going to derive my impetus, right? That's the thing. All right. With that, we'll end the class. Hare Krishna to all of you, and we will meet on Monday. Rebol, and I realize I haven't posted the video from the last class and this class, of course. So I'll try to find the time to post it. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.